Alrighty, we're up. We get some stuff set up, shall we? Oops. The microphone's a little close, so I had to kind of turn it off for just a moment to get StreamYard open and running. A little tired from work, but make sure. I'm pretty decided on we're gonna have some music. Maybe a little later. Haven't really decided. It's also just one of them days. Just got two back-to-back, kind of pieces of bad news. Now, I mentioned this in the description, but I'll do it a step further. I marked this video not for kids for a reason. Talking some heavier stuff while we kind of just draw and try and unwind. But this has been just a day of all time, I'll tell you. Okay. Up. Also gonna have this up skeletal hand I want to work on as I'm using as reference. There we go. Now, shall we? This is going to be a redraw of a piece I made previously, but I'm kind of redoing the whole thing now that I have more previous knowledge, I suppose. Actually, I'm going to change something real quick because I want to specifically display second capture. I need to eye on this. There we go. What I need to do to start a no capture. There we go. And I'm going to specifically I need to separate the skeletal and the rest of it. Give me a minute. Okay. Can I just do an image? No, I gotta be more specific. You'll have to hold on for just a minute. There we go. Window capture 2. There we go. I wanted specific. And I'm gonna put that down into the corner here so it's not that interrupted. Make sure it's still there and showing. Go. Now, shall we? Now, I won't really discuss the news as it's something that's, more personal, but you ever just, kind of be living life and then stuff kind of happens, as it always will, no doubt. Let me move something. There we go. The cord was in my way of my Control Z key. There we go. You ever have those moments? It's truly the really epitome of life where something kind of happens and you just kind of speechless. You don't really know how to feel. That's kind of how it feels right now, I'm not gonna lie. Let me pull up. Actually, I'm gonna split. I need to remember how to split windows. There we go. Okay, good news. I figured it out. There we go. I needed the hand to be easily visible. There we go. Now we can continue. I might actually just remove this. Hit the move to clipboard button. Miraculous, I know. I'm gonna actually remove this chunk of bone and I'll redraw that later, but let's first kind of continue with what I was thinking. Also, I should probably kind of, what am I thinking? I need to trying to find the words for this. I need to get the sword piece I wanted. I'm gonna open the other tab. Okay. And I'm going to hit the wrong button. That's what I'm gonna do. Now, let me kind of outline the sword, get a feel for what that is. This? That's a racer. There we go. This is just... I'm gonna make the actual arm of it a little more slender. I don't really know a sword with that big of a wrapping around its blade. I made this years ago, so it's a little iffy, honestly, but that's alright. Because the best part about art is you can always change it. I might just pick up and move the piece, but I want to first draw the hand around it. I actually did some more research in terms of hands, and like I said, I have the skeletal hand up here, but I did a more specific thing where I looked up what's the name? I looked up, like, little gross, little TMI, but I looked up the body decay and just like how long it takes for certain muscles, how bones go, etc., etc. Because obviously in the original, the bones are kind of floating. That's not how bones work, last I checked. But I was trying to just kind of learn at what point does the muscle go away, you feel? So I was trying to kind of learn that, and then I learned about muscle atrophies. You know, when the body dies, goes rigor mortis, it will still kind of grip the last thing it was holding, or just it will just stay in a locked state no matter what it was in. And that was interesting, so I learned something new. Now, I'm probably going to make a new tab on top of this so I can not accidentally draw on top. I want to draw like on the sword without, how to explain this, without mingling with that layer. So at the hand pieces, let's start with the pinky. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces like that. Now, of course, they'll be sitting all on top of each other, so let's redraw that. Too long. That one's a shorter piece, like that. And a slightly long, oh, missed a gap. Slightly longer piece. The longest piece, like there, and that kind of goes into the spot at the bottom. So, to make it where it's holding it, hold on, I'm looking at my own hand for this. Do I have a comparable? Actually, yes, I do own a real sword. Hold on. Let me swivel my chair out. Give me a... Resting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this katana I have base point because I don't feel like actual, or that thing's kind of... Oh. Would rest here. So the specific katana grip you for this kind of sword, it's a difficult thing to get. Roll. This isn't obviously being seen. I don't have a webcam on. I look like a disaster. I came home. Just finished watching like 3 episodes of one. I'm not... Okay. That kind of gave me the information I needed, and that's the important part. Let me sit up. Wish I could show. You know what? I just realized what I can do on my phone. itself. So I can look at chat from there because my second monitor is being half held together. Actually, no, I got a different idea. Never mind. That works. As long as I know stream's still running, it's not melting. I think that's the important part. Now, let's continue. I was kind of getting a feeling for how the hand would look. So, if I'm guessing correct, I'd say the first like 2 bones would go out to there, give or take, and that would be hidden behind the blade itself. So I need to put that one up there, and I need to click on this one, I think. Or I just remember how to draw perspective. It's been a minute. Put this back here, click on 4. So first 2 bone pieces, and I will just say it starts like here. I think that's good. That'll be the pinky. And for reference, this will be the 3rd bone piece right here, showing off specifically this part. Okay. There's going to be a slight indent, followed by a drop. I got hit with the famous moved it to clipboard. Also leave me. I swear I'm always hitting Control X instead of Z. I think that kind of shows well enough. And then it's going to be the last bone piece. We're going to zoom in one more time. Curved head. Fins. Like that. Good. Fat bottom. Not like that, but a rounded bottom. I mean, I said the same thing. Who cares? There we go. Curve up. There we go. I think that's pretty good, but obviously some fingers are longer than others. I mean, yeah. Let me grab that sword again. Measure. If the pointer finger is also going to be a tiny snell. Okay. It's more of a. I mean, I kind of had it spot on where the first bit is hidden behind the actual hell, what do they call it? The actual grip of the blade. Not the grip of the blade, but like, you know, the grip itself. And then the second piece will be slightly visible on the rounded edge in which you are holding. And then last but not least, the last 2 pieces will show. I think that's pretty good. I still gotta remember how to use IBI's Paint on a computer. It is so awkward, but I don't really have a choice, and I already paid for it, so, you know, we chillin'. Okay. Same story, based on how I was gripping that katana. Hidden, second piece showing, third piece there. Also, it's not something specific you have to remember for hands, specifically hands. It's the first 2 pieces you see are going to be, I think, the actual fingertip itself, the nail to the base of the hand, and then the next 2 pieces are what make up the hand to the wrist bones, which is, let me find my mouse, whatever the hell this is, a whole nonsense. You still have to sometimes question, how do humans even move when we're built like this? Like, why are so many bones squished together? Huh. Interesting stuff. Was gonna put on music, and then I was kind of like, maybe, maybe not. We'll figure it out, kind of. I'll put on a little bit of music. On like a slight quieter thing. And I learned my lesson from the Dark Souls stream with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. Put on royalty-free music. It'll save you a lot of headache. Okay, so similar to this. Except this hand's gonna be slightly longer, so for this finger specifically. So, shall we? Go back up. Get in. I would say about half of that would be showing. That's got a fatter edge leaning towards the bottom, so something to keep in mind. And then it's not really, it's kind of partially rounded, but it's kind of flat at the top, so I'm going to do like a flat with a slight round. Nice, good. Okay. Draw it down and kind of into a very slight curve to the end. Same story. Slight curve, good. Round out, slight divot in center. Not bad. Looks to be about a ring finger, question mark. I don't know. I'm no finger man or whatever. And roughly the end in the same spot, but kinda not, because if you look at the ring finger, it's positioned lower than the pinky. But also kind of not. It's this really weird thing where, you know, look at your hand, like truly study your hand, you'll notice they all kind of land on the same spot, though if you feel the bones, you notice, yeah, one is marked a little lower because of slightly longer. It's like a very, barely noticeable difference if you're not thinking about it too hard, you feel. Okay, let's see, then slight mushroom top looking thing. Kind of shaved on that side like that. It goes thinner. Okay, good. A little bit longer on that end, and then it's just going to like that. That's not too bad. Though the bones would honestly be a little closer according to the diagram, but that's if you're holding it flat out. If you're gripping it on a sideways grip, grabbing the sword again to kind of is a weird place. Okay, I think I understand. I'm going to do a quick erase, and I'm just going to ever so gently shift this over. Oops. Control Z. I meant to do it a little thinner. Too thin. Perfect. That wasn't all too much different. Kind of like that. I might instead just move over the pinky a little bit. There we go. Like that. Now we're cooking. Hold on. And then this kind of divots down. It's a much wider thing. And then thins out here. And widens back out. There we go. Now we're cooking. Hold on. Drawing is so relaxing. In fact, it's so relaxing. I brought myself a nice cup of cherry tea with honey. Oh yeah. I've been drinking like so much tea at work. It's actually getting a little crazy. I'm not even intending to. It's just, you know, I'm working and then I'm like, wow, I could really go for another cup of mint tea. Really the moment of all time. Now, if we're going based on thoughts of the pinky and the tip would end up roughly here. The what is it called? The ring would end up somewhere here. I'm talking on the other side of the handle here. And then the ring would probably end up somewhere here, not far off from the ring, but just slightly longer. And then pointer is on cue with the ring, so somewhere here. And last but not least, the thumb will be like, would probably be on, it would be drawn to this side like this, so it'd be somewhere here likely in terms of the other side of the handle, you feel? Let's remove those. Let's continue. So we're gonna do the middle finger now. Like I said, it'd end up roughly here, so because that piece is longer, I think, how at least it looks, that it's not going to just be a bump right here, it's going to be a little more like a that, but maybe a little bit more. Let me zoom back in, like a, there, that's better. That's kind of like the knuckle piece, not really knuckle, oh wait, hold on. I actually had to kind of feel it out of my own hand. Yes, that is considered, I guess, the not really knuckle piece, but that's like the part between the knuckle and the next joint on your finger. I'm gonna call it secondary joint. Is that even the name? I'm gonna. What do they call that? Well, they don't got a name for the joint, but this piece right here. Anyways. Not really a big fan of the song. It's a little too uppity. There we go. That's a little bit better. I just picked a random playlist of piano music as I was trying to take a nice relaxing, not really think too hard about it. Not the first playlist I saw, just I was like, yeah, why not this one? And silly me, almost just spilled my tea. Can't be having that now. No, this one's got. This is just a rounded tip, but not being like an actual like looking like a head of a mushroom like the next piece, like this one. So oops. I gotta make the black on that. There we go. Oh. I did it again. Oopsies. I'm holding too long on the thing and that's causing it to happen. It should roughly come around at the same spot. And now the last piece, it's out, tuck, tuck back down. Thins out. And I misinputted again, but that's alright. Then we're going to, oops, a little too wide, but we're gonna make the bottom wide. Like that, there we go. Let me center it a little more. That's just the middle, I hope I don't run out of space on this. I shouldn't if I'm weary of it, not weary, aware of it. So small little mound. It's too small. It's like a this. There we go. Which actually reminds me. Let me redraw that a bit better. It's gonna look grainy for the time because it's just pencil. But when I actually go over this in like a marker, I'm trying to get like a more flat angle, like a, oh, look at that. That's perfect. See, not too tall, because that's the pinky, smallest of them all. Let me just see how it looks up top. It doesn't look too bad. Pencil never looks good when you're drawing it like this. It's always gonna look a little faded, a little gross, but that's alright. That piece of the bone's a little weird. It kind of has a, like it gets a little fatter of a, the thing here, so I'll just draw that on each of them. Also, this is gonna be the... I was trying to model it after my own hand, but unfortunately I made a slight miscalculation. Am I doing this right-handed or left-handed? Let me get a look at that picture again. That looks like it shows a right hand, so... I guess the thumb would be like, give or take, like right up here, tucked mainly behind that. Made that a little too thin right there. What I might do is I might extend the, I'm on the wrong layer. In it. I'm going to extend this handle up a little more to fit the thumb, and in its place I will, if I can stop being an idiot, hold up, there we go, now we're cooking. I never liked really IBIS paint on PC, it always felt so eh. Oh, hey Jerem, what's good? I think I'll start the blade like there. I think that's a pretty good place to start it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Now let me go back to my other layer with the skeleton hand. Most of it's... So most of it's gonna be hidden except for like the final bones. Yeah, it is kind of empty. That's fair. I'm not playing a game. I'm not really doing anything that's really deemed exciting. I'm having a relaxing evening. I've got my tea, and I'm drawing, so fine. I think it's important in life to never stress those kinds of things. Not every stream is everyone's cup of tea. In the most literal sense, I should drink from my tea. That reminds me. It's good. I'm perfectly fine with that, honestly. Oh, what drawing am I making? Oh, thank you for asking. Okay, I am remaking this drawing. It's a... me kind of back up and back in. This is kind of awkward. There we go. I made this drawing 3 years ago, 2022, give or take. It's good. I enjoyed making the process. Yeah, it's a very nice drawing. I won't lie. I used to kind of put myself down saying, "Oh, it's got so many mistakes," and that's fine. Because drawing is all about a game of mistakes, about what you can and can't fix, and if you can fix it, make it better. So, kind of updating it. Main things I'm concerning are sword, the hand. It looks like it's just being held together by glue and special abilities, which has always been such a silly thought to me. So I'm redrawing it with a more accurate anatomy. That's what the skeleton hand in the corner is for. I'm actively trying to draw the hand a little more anatomically. Anyways, it's time to put the thumb in. So the thumb, you'll mainly see it's a shorter bone, so you're gonna kind of see like this part of the bone, and actually for the first time the oh kind of get a feel for it. I guess, yeah, and that's okay, you know? Let's talk about that. Drawing is all about making mistakes. You make a mistake, you rewind. If you're doing it digitally, if you're not, you erase it. Yeah, see? You can either have friends in art or you can practice and get better. Like, I don't personally consider that drawing to be my magnum opus. Never. It is never a magnum opus until you physically cannot draw anymore. And even so, there's still ways to get around that. Because I know people who won't give up drawing even if it killed them, so. I see, I see. Now we're starting to see people in a little bit, but either way. Okay, so that kind of deals with that. Now I gotta draw the actual wrist. The actual wrist bones itself. Kind of also feeling my own bones to get a feel for that. I see. Okay. So I want to address that. I think I can make that a little better, honestly. Because it kind of dips here and then falls back into it. There you go. That's better. Now, let's draw those bone pieces so they fit nice and snug. Actually, it's more of a... It peaks in the middle right there. And then, I might draw it from the... how do I describe this? It's like... Okay, so technically it's more of a... Yeah, and that's fine. Your best might just be that. And that's okay. Because it may feel like that's your best, but you can always try and do better. I mean, not like in the sense that all previous drawings you made are bad, it's just always you can touch them up. In fact, I got an old, it was an oil, but I made it was like an old painting I made. I was kind of chilling with friends, and we all were like, yeah, let's go painting. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't ever consider myself good at it, but I tried. And there were some dumb mistakes, like I was trying to make, I think, a waterfall at one point, yet I messed it up. But instead of just getting upset... Fair enough. Instead of getting upset, what I did is I took that color and I changed it to jagged rock sitting among the waterfall. Yes, I still did it, that's damn right. Even when it felt like I messed up big time and I couldn't fix this drawing, I fixed it. And I think that's the important part to note. No matter how hopeless it might feel for a drawing, it's not over until you've truly run out of paint and room. I changed it, and it's still not perfect, but I changed it to my liking. I persevered, exactly. And that's something people should really do, not just in art, but in life. Like, There are many times when it just feels really rough, really hopeless, but I promise it does get better, as it might not feel that way, but it does. These bones should be a little closer together in retrospect. Hmm. And I feel like the best people to look up to in that sense is the ones who keep persevering even when it feels like, hey, this is feels really rough. Like, I don't know if you can keep that going, right? And that's the kind of person. Oh, hey, Anders, I actually forgot to text you. I was so tired from work and One Piece, I forgot to text the people that I normally say, hey, I'm streaming to, that I'm streaming. I gotta get better at that. That's something else I could get better at, just informing people of things. Got it there. It's like a. I kind of have to adjust the hand downwards because hands in of itself are one big thing. So let me readjust the ring finger to kind of too big of a drop point. What's the current piece gonna be? So you are looking at a remake of this piece. I've shown you before. It's in the server. You know what it looks like. I'm going to be remaking it to be more anatomically correct and just touched up because that piece is kind of outdated and I made that a long while ago. Yeah. I was explaining a little bit at the beginning of stream before you got here that I just got like two pieces of not so great news. They aren't relating to me, but it's still one of those things where it's like I kind of am empathizing with them. It's like, yeah, life is a little turbulent right now, so I kind of just wanted something a little easier on the mind, and the best thing to do that is to draw. If you can't physically describe how you're feeling, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. My what is supposed to be my chill Geometry Dash streams are always so chaotic. Probably because it ends up with MBJ or someone else saying something really funny, and then we're all goofing off and not thinking. But this time, I do plan to keep this as chill as humanly possible. Um, like that. There we go. Now we're cooking. And I'm glad. I'm glad you're kind of vibing. That's what the music's for, honestly. I myself, my voice alone cannot carry something like this. This is something that requires a little more kind of like a vibe, you feel? These bones might be a little bigger than I thought for these pieces, so I'm gonna erase real quick and I'm just gonna touch these up. Just make these pieces a little bigger. Hmm. Like that, I suppose. Well, fingers and hands are one of the toughest things for artists to master. Even so, these don't look all too good. But I can understand that because hands are really tough to draw, and it's just one of those things you kind of got to get a feel for, or as it helps, having a reference point. Me looking at that hand is really helping because I'm understanding each of the bones and where they rest. Like, personally, that should. Hmm. I'm kind of doing a small bit of like arguing with myself mentally on that. I think I see the issue. I gotta make the middle finger a little bit shorter like that. Especially if you're drawing gloves. Especially, that is true. Now, I'm just drawing the bones. The bones are the easiest to draw in terms of just what you're looking at. For muscles, muscles are a whole different thing. Good God. I couldn't draw muscles. They would drive me insane because there's so many literally moving parts and just things to keep in mind. So, let us continue. This is kind of like a kidney shaped piece. This piece looks a little strange, like a kidney bean. I made that part a little too skinny. Let me try that again. It's not too moon shaped, it's more of a like a that. Maybe a little bit longer is my only thought. Like that. What's your favorite NFL team? That's perfectly valid. I'm unfortunately through the ups and downs a Ravens fan. I've had to carry the burden of, good God, what are you guys doing? Get your heads in the game, and I don't care. You are paid to do this. It's, oh my, so frustrating, but I don't like to try to stress myself out with stuff like that. It's not really worth my time, you know? I still enjoy watching the games, and I even went to one in person for the first time this year. But it was one of those, you know, I'm kind of there to support. Nothing really more. Yeah, I saw, didn't they, ooh, who did they lose to? Was it Cowboys? I think you should have thrown, oh wait, oh crap, I'm sorry, I'm making too much noise. I'm right near the mic, oops. You're throwing peanuts at the ref. You know, I should have. I was watching. I was in the stadium for the Lions Ravens game week 2, week 3, I think. Yeah, we got our hides tanned really badly that day. That was really rough. I won't lie. I don't even think it was ref calls. I think we were genuinely just being that terrible. Hmm. Hmm. Kind of looks like that. So I have to change this bone piece down a little bit. Something like a like that. That doesn't look fantastic, but it's gonna have to do. At the Bears and Eagles game, he wore 5 layers. Oh, you know, I'm pretty sure that had to be in Chicago. I feel bad for all the poor people in Chicago. They're freezing their ass off. That's unfortunate. It was also pretty cold at the Ravens Lions game, but this was back in like September, so I didn't have to wear as many layers. It was the Sunday night game. Eagles were at home? Are you serious? Oh my god. Dude. Wasn't it like -40 in Chicago when you're dude, probably. Who knows? Chicago is where the Pope came from and also where it snows in probably October if allowed. Okay. I wanna zoom out and then I'm gonna move myself there. That works. Actually, I want to. how do I don't know, use the lasso tool? I'm trying to figure out. I want to specifically grab that part, or I can just inch it forward manually. Chicago for work. You know, hmm. Hmm. Was it vector? No, it is not. Trying to figure out what button it is to, because I want to grab specifically that piece. I want to highlight this piece, you feel? I'm just trying to figure out the button for that. Oops. Closer. Almost. Almost like a down here. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey, I figured it out. Or did I? I'm trying to lasso the entire thing in there, you feel, but it's not really allowing me. How do I... Oh, wait, am I actually an idiot? Oh my god, I'm an idiot, bro. I gotta go on the layer it's on, which is... that one. Okay. Okay. I think you should go for a trap song, honestly. I think that'd be the cooler one. Especially if you haven't done one before, that might be a nice change of pace. Okay, I couldn't lasso it because I wasn't on the right layer because I'm a goofball. There we go. There we go. See, this lasso tool is nice. That's the good shit. Oops. I want to go to brush again, and I need to redraw this a little bit so it makes a little more sense because I drew that a little haphazardly. Let's first start by building this out a little more, and then there we go. Okay, it's not cut like that. It kind of, the bone gets a little bigger here for doing that. That's pretty good. I like that. I've done one try before. I think it's kind of crappy. I've never done dubstep, but okay. Okay, I still think, like, remember we were talking about art earlier, and you can always improve. Maybe either remake that trap song or remake it and add new stuff to it, you feel? I still think this is... Oops. Let me not do that. That is my best hand. Like, let's do a compare and contrast on those. Look at the difference between the bone structure. That is way, way, way better. I'm so proud of myself. I was so scared the entire time, honestly. Okay. That was the part I was genuinely most scared about. So, this is the basics. We got the hills, we got the grave, and we got the hand, and we got the handle of the sword. Now we have to build the sword. So, this is going to be on layer 3. That hand, I'm genuinely so proud. I don't know what else to say. I'm just, see, this is the most amazing thing about an art, a craft, anything you can improve. It's, you get that great feeling in your chest. It's like a warm feeling when you make something and you're like, wow, that was so much better than my previous attempt. Small incremental changes like that is what make it better by and better. You know what's funny? Let me tell a story. This original hand was built because this is before I had a phone with 4G, 5G. I just had Wi-Fi. I was at a meeting with my friend, and I kind of like poked him in the side. He had a phone with 4G. He had a whole phone plan. I didn't. I poked him in the side. I'm like, "Yo, can you?" I kind of whispered like this. I was like, "Hey, can you please pull up a picture of a skeleton and thank you with the arm?" I like asked him really nicely if he could share it, and I kind of drew it on my phone off his screen, and that's how this drawing was born because of some silly nonsense. Life of Luxury, never heard of it. And for me, for an unk like me, you don't need to watch something scary. You just need to have back pain, and it kind of does that for you. I'm being serious. My back hurts all the damn time. It's a horror channel. Mm, I've never heard of that channel, but I used to watch this like horror story channel way back in my day. I'm talking middle school. I was like fifth grade. I used to watch it for fun with a friend. I don't know. It depends on the horror. For me, jump scares, that kind of thing, don't really do it for me. Analog, I don't really think analog is scary. I kind of just giggle at it. I'm gonna be honest. It's just when you got oh, stop. You can't have you blushing like this, twin. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that kind of, it doesn't really scare me. It's always it's really silly. It's stuff like, and then he approached, and it was Jeff the killer, and I'm like, bro, you're not scaring me genuinely. I don't know. It's they try to pump up the horror by making with crazy via like effects and just chilling music, but it just comes off as trying too hard to me personally. But I am not, I'm not a good representation of that. That's fair. I can't remember the channel name. I'm gonna be honest. This was so long ago. That makes me feel old. You know how long ago fifth grade was, man? I've been graduated for 2 years. Do the math. I was like, what? How old was I? I was like 11, maybe 10, turning 11 in fifth grade. That was 9 years ago. 10 years ago. As a reminder, I turned 21 in 23 days. Jeez. Don't think about it. It really sneaks up on you. So, time is crazy. Now, for the handle, the old one was kind of just this flat piece of metal, but I feel like I could do better. I have this actual sword. I have actually two swords. I have a katana, and then I have one that's a real thing of metal. It's more of a hunk of metal at this point. I gotta reshine it and just kind of do all kinds of things to fix it. I guess I don't know. Whenever I think security cameras, I think of I think of Five Nights at Freddy's because that's what I grew up on. So I don't know if you can really blame me for that. Anyway, like I was saying, this sword I own is kind of got a forgetting the name of it. Oh, too early. It's more of a made that too tall. One more time. I can make that better. You can always make it better. I'll actually make this one not as long, horizontally. Um, have you ever played Slope? No, I don't know what Slope is. I feel like such an unk when people are like, have you ever played this viral hit sensation? I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, the last viral hit sensation I dug into was Five Nights at Freddy's. I feel like old as hell when people be talking about the new viral sensation. I'm like, I'm still kind of in the 2010s. I don't know. Okay, kind of like that. It's a bit crooked. I can always fix that. Best part about digital art, I can just do this. Like that. That works. Too much of a gap. I gotta get it a little tighter to the hilt. The hilt. That's the name of the thing. I don't know how I forgot that. Blade's a little crooked. It's more of an angled thing, because if you didn't know how swords work, the blade follows the handle in the sense that, like, for example, let me just, and not accidentally crook the blade. Hold on. Like that, because you want to know why? The sword in of itself is technically one very long piece of metal, and the hilt is the only thing that disconnects it, and then the handle is slipped on later. So technically, the handle's in the where you're. Sorry, the blade is where you're holding. It's just covered in some kind of wrapping, leather, actually any kind of wrapping, like a bandage of some kind. And I should make this a little thinner. I'm not like digging this song. It's a bit too in my ears. It's like overall it's not bad. I like the vocals, but I want something a little more down low. No, that's exactly it. Every weapon is technically just a huge stick. Like, think about it like this. Huh? Let me back out and go to a different layer. A sword, big stick. A morning star. Morning stars depend on your thoughts, but most kind of see them like these things, like the ball on a stick. That's basically stick with DLC. Dagger. That's just short stick. What about guitars? And I'm gonna be honest, I forgot what a guitar looks like. Hold on. Guitar's weapon. What the hell is that? Oh, I see. Okay, oop. Hold on, go grab this thing. There we go. So from what I'm understanding, a guitar just looks like a hidden blade. So it's kind of like a, hold on. So, technically, a guitar is just a hidden stick. Guns, I mean, yeah, we call those explosive sticks. Why do you think they call the shotgun the boomstick? You slice and dice. But anyways, the lesson of the story is everything is technically a stick. Small stick, big stick, stick with DLC, spinny ball thing, and hidden stick. At the end of the day, they're all sticks. That's the thing to note. But back to this, I can redraw this to be a little more correct. Like that. There we go. Recentering myself is such a pain in the ass. What about barbed wires from World War One? That is technically curly sticks. Consider the following. It's kind of like the curly fries from Arby's, but instead of being tasty, you start bleeding. Very true. Discord note, 1 second. It's just the group chat. It's Wordle time soon, but I'm gonna finish stream before I do Wordle, so I'm gonna be late to the party. Sorry, Hundarius. As it be. I'm gonna re-straighten this. Ooh, I like this song. This song's very pretty. Very nice on the ears. Alright, switch again. I also have to make this handle a little bit longer. There we go. Wordle on 2. Damn. Are you serious? What about brass knuckles? Ooh, that's a good one. That's basically just that's hand stick. That also goes the same with Sastices, by the way. Well, Discord's free, Germ. I don't know how it works for. Well, what do you need to be? I think you need to be minimum of 13 years old to have Discord, right? Yeah, just 13 to have Discord. I'm pretty sure that's the terms of service and whatever. So this is the basics. I no longer need this drawing. I'm good to remove this. I got all the information I needed from there. It's up to my own decisions. Let's continue working on the hand, shall we? That is the one I put it on, right? Okay, that's the arm. I'm gonna try to find the stream. Oh, right. Okay, so I can just point you to it. That stream is. Let me find it 1 second. That's the one before Skyrim Slow Run Number 4. That's running it back on Stalemate. That was the actual stream I beat it. Me beating it was in like an hour 40 in, I think. You might have to double check, or if you care to watch the whole stream, that's your call. I'm just pointing out it's somewhere in there, I think. Yeah. Do you have Roblox Studio? I do. I used to be an avid, I was trying to create all of Dark Souls in Roblox. I was such a fool. It was a while ago. It was such a big project. I tried recruiting a guy, and then he kind of, oddly enough, disappeared off the face of the planet. I don't know how that happened per se, but it just did. Skeleton arm. I need to kind of get a feeling for the image of that as well. There we go. Let's open tab and okay, we're kind of done with the hands, so let me. Oh, the bones cross over, right? So the one that's originally on top is gonna end up crossing over at the bottom. I see. That is so evil, Ondarius. Oh my god. For Siegmeyer's questline and the Titanite slab to find out how. God, you are such an evil individual. That's why you're my friend. Oh god, that's evil. Oh, loot boxes. Oh no, we got an Overwatch buff over here. Yeah, to get the Titanite slab and find the ending to Siegmeyer's quest with him and his daughter and how they reconcile. You first have to pay 500 Robux. That would be so evil. Oh my god, I don't think I could even consider that. Okay, so I don't know why I made the like a wrench shaped for the hand. Hmm. I still can't get over your idea of that. That's genuinely so evil. We should low key do it. I kind of gotta curve it a little bit more like this. This was the one thing I didn't know. See, I'm also technically learning anatomy by having. Well, they're supposed to be equals, so that's gotta go out a little bit further. I get that. One more time to clear that part off. Like that. There we go. I get to learn accurate anatomy, and it's just for fun for a drawing. Oh, how sad. My cherry tea is getting cold. I still don't know what drove me to do that. You know, I made all of the Undead Asylum, and it took like a month, by the way, and then I started to make Firelink, and then I got so burnt out I gave up. I would really like to revisit that one day. Like, if I have all my debts paid, I only have to work like 3 days a week. I would genuinely love to make that a reality. Like, I'm talking an accurate, one for one Dark Souls remake in Roblox. I think that'd be really fun. But oh god, I'm clinically insane for even thinking it as a reality because no sane person would do that. Like, absolutely not. You had the Japanese dev experience. Deadline. Deadline's tomorrow. You get to stay in the office. And no sleeping. Red Bull exists for a reason. Red Bull sweat and tears type of work. Okay, I'm gonna start shading a little bit. But I'm gonna put shading on a different layer because I'm a smart individual and I won't make the mistakes of myself in the past. So I'm gonna turn this to opacity of like 20. I'm just gonna do kind of like a light shading underneath. Oh wow, 20 is still too much. I gotta go way lighter. Like 10%. Looks like I'm barely doing anything. Maybe I gotta crank it like 15. Shading should just be barely noticeable. I look something before I make an assumption. Go right ahead. It is always better not to spread misinformation. You're right to think about that before you spread it. The thing about shading is it should never be, like jump out to a person. It should be in the background, kind of like glow in a Jump Dash level. It should just be there, and if you notice it, you're like, wow, that they spent the time to shade and do that extra bits. That's what it should be like in a drawing. You should just notice it enough, but not go, oh my wowzers, it's in my face, you know? Be just gently in the background. I feel like such a Bob Ross right now, but it's such a nice feeling. I've spent all my time growing up watching streamers and YouTubers just be the next loudmouth. It's like How much attention can I draw to myself by either saying slurs or being loud as hell? It's like sometimes you just want something that's not that, and you just want some peace and quiet for once. The shading doesn't look all too good. You passed. Yeah, dude, let me tell you, my heart was beating in my ears when I got past the ship, and then I did the ball first try. I could feel myself like I was ready to just start hyperventilating, but I held it together. That was genuinely one of my scariest moments in any level I've ever played. Okay, the shading's a little too much. It should be more of a. There we go. I'm pretty sure these lines are going to be final, so I'm going to switch to a marker soon after I'm done shading where I need to, and I'm going to actually make the lines final with like black marker. I need to move and center myself before. There we go, perfect. Yeah, literally, dude. Dude, that stalemate run, I did like, I don't know when the ship ended. I think it's like around 70. So I did 70 to 100, and the whole time I could feel my heartbeat in my ears, and I was stressing so bad. And then the worst part, okay, maybe not the worst part, probably for the better, but my parents were sleeping in their room, and I couldn't start shouting, dude. It was nearly midnight. That is true. See, the guy in the drawing learned something from Mihawk, and he learned to aura farm right before his death. He's like, I might die. Let me catch some of that good aura, and then started aura farming. This is true, by the way. Fact checked by real American patriots. I'm kind of gonna shade downwards. Is that a sword I see? Mihawk upscale. True, true. But because it's a Mihawk upscale, it's a Vista upscale. Don't forget the Paramount War. You know, that's completely understandable, bro. Remember, that's what always frustrates me when we see new people to the game, especially streamers. And listen, I'm no fan of Jinxie as a person. He's loud, he's brash, he's a little hurtful to the ears sometimes, but I always didn't like when people would shit on him and go, oh, wait till he gets the time machine, wait till he gets the X step, and keep moving the goalpost. Like, this is the reason Jamajesh was not getting many new people. It's because we would treat outsiders with pitchforks and torches and wondered why no one's playing Jamajesh as a new player. Yeah, I do too, but I mainly keep it under control with Adderall, so I heard he has Tourette's, and that's also probably true. Who knows? I think the fact of the matter is, no matter what mental thing he has or physical thing he has, if regarding the Tourette's, I think it's important to remember some people are just brash and bold and loud. And that's fine. Not everyone's going to be like that. And that's also okay. It's okay to be kind of loud and you know, excited, but it's also okay to take it easy and remember that Jinxie's still a human. That's just his on-stream persona. Maybe off stream he is a relaxing guy. I wouldn't know. I don't know the guy. What's important to remember is I don't. I'm almost the opposite. I don't really have an on-stream persona. I might get excited about something, but there's never a point where I'm kind of faking a person to appear. There is no. This is honestly as real as I try to be. There's at no point where I fake because I understand it feels almost disingenuous. It feels a little more human if you're talking to one rather than talking to an idealized version to get views and clicks. And yeah, I can do the same. I like during that stalemate stream, I went from frustrated to deaths to excited and happy I won. But that's more of a result. But also, I can just snap between emotions, unfortunately, and that's part of my brain. But the important thing to note is... Oops, I forgot to max it again. And let's go back to... Oops. Let's go back to like 15%, and let's shade in the thumb piece. I think I'll leave the thumb like that. Yeah, and I can also do the same. I feel that sometimes I'm just chatting, having a good time, and then someone says some real weird stuff, and I damn near snap my neck to stare at them and go, "Yo, what's your problem? Shut up." Because like, if I hear some weird stuff because they talking out their ass, I'm gonna call them out. I'm not gonna stand for things. It's one of those things that's just part of who I am, for better or for worse, in all honesty. But I think what I was trying to finish saying before I forgot. Yeah, it feels like that in my family too, where I feel like the oddball out for many of my opinions. Now, that's excluding my brothers. My brothers and I share very similar opinions. Not the fact that we're brothers, it's the fact that we just think similarly and different from our parents. That's really it, and the reason why. That's fine. Well, like I was saying earlier before I got distracted, many people will end up making a persona for a stream or saying something to kind of fit what they want to say. It's not, and I kind of feel. Well, and that's your friend's opinion, but I think what's important is if you have morals, stand by them. I'm not gonna note on the fact you spelled friends wrong in your respelling, but I digress. I think what I was saying, the important part to note is if you have morals, stand on business. Unless it's tough to say. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you got an opinion, stand on it and understand good or bad. That opinion will either get you a new conversation or it'll get you a smack on the back of the head. So it kind of depends on who you're talking to and what your stance is. I just realized this side's a little bit fatter than the other, and I should fix that. Wrong one. There we go. Unless you're Nestle. Oh yeah, if you're a Nestle CEO, go drown yourself. Waterboard yourself, twin. I'm stopping the chill just for a minute, just to call out the Nestle CEO. He's a garbage human. What a loser, seriously. Water isn't a human, right? Yeah, that guy's an idiot. I think I'm pretty sure I've made my politics quite known, and I've taken my stance, and I stand my ground on that quite easily without faltering. Yeah, it's also okay to admit you're wrong. That's something too many people do struggle with. It's fine to admit that. It always is. YouTube can kiss my ass. I don't care. I'm saying that shit. If they want to strike down the guy with 47 subs, so be it. YouTube is using AI anyway. Dude, I could literally say I love rainbow sunshine and kissing puppies on the forehead, and I could get struck over the head. Doesn't matter. Using AI to do that. I could probably say, well, I like a certain breed of dogs over the other, and YouTube will hang me by my toes and beat me with a wooden pallet. Or, wait, what's the thing? It's paddle's the word. Yeah, they beat me with a wooden paddle by hanging by my toes. I don't think YouTube cares. You're seeing people's channels by the day go extinct because YouTube were too cowardice to actually step in and do their jobs. Hmm. Go to recenter myself. Let me that 10 out of 20 is 100% of the time. Out of 20, yeah, that's literally 50%. That is half. If you flip a coin 20 times and 10 of them are heads, that's 50%. God, is the education that bad that we're arguing about what 50% is? Jesus, I hate when people younger than me, younger than like 16, are entering the workforce. That's a horrifying thought, bro. They can't even do basic math. Oh my gracious. You're running me timbers, bro. You can't be doing this to me. This is supposed to be a chill stream. You're gonna make me shiver all up in my timbers. Mm. Yeah, like literally do, say, 10 divided by 20. It's half. It's 0.5. Calculators come pre-installed with your phone. It's you're hurting my head, and it's not your fault. It's God, that really made me. Whew, jeez. That really made me think about it for a minute. That's a scary thought. Almost doubted myself. Why is there a huge argument about mathematics in the first place? Yeah, that's a great question, MBJ. Yeah, Jerem, expand upon that. Why was there an argument about math, especially such easy math? I kind of feel like I'm in an Ace Attorney case where I'm like, because she's teaching her little sister. That girl is banned from teaching her little sister math if her math is that horrible. Oh my god, yo, ban her ass, bruh. Hell nah. Alright. I'm pretty sure of this. I'm just gonna shade this part darker. Yeah, but that's actually crazy work, bro. I would not trust that person to teach their sibling math if they thought 10 out of 20 was not half. It was stupid teaching kindergarten 10th grade math. That's 10th grade math to y'all? Oh my gracious, bro. Oh, hell no. Oh my god. Brother, I'm gonna be honest. Fractions were like a 3rd grade thing. And it's like crazy to me that that person could have been just so easily disproved by the most. That's 4th grade. Yeah, exactly, MBJ. That is not 10th grade. You know what I took in 10th grade? I took geometry. And it wasn't like, this is a square. I'm talking, find the angle of this, blah, blah, blah. Just that kind of nonsense. That genuinely scares me if that person was trying to teach fourth grade math to some kindergartner and was actively getting it wrong as they were in 10th grade. That's a scary thought. SMH. It's still not 10th grade math, twin. You could be taking like Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 back to back, or even trig in high school. I don't think they really cared what point you took it, as long as you at least took some advanced math form. But the point being is, it's like, that's still embarrassing. Like, if I'm a 10th grader and I'm trying to teach someone how to find the missing angle on, say, a, I don't know, an acute triangle, or whatever the types of triangles. I think one of them starts with an I. I'm so rusty in math. It's unbelievable, because I haven't had to really use that stuff in a while. But it's like, that's embarrassing, and I would be embarrassed as a person if I couldn't teach basic fractions to a kindergartner. Also, are we not going to be honest? Kindergartners can understand fractions. They're pretty easy to understand. Top number, bottom number. If you want the percentage, divide the top by the bottom. Pretty easy stuff. Score 3 kids in our class are too smart for their grade. Just on math specifically. Well, that girl you're arguing better not have been in those selected 3. Being my brother. Oh, I see. Okay. I think I'm gonna add rust to the chains to show age. I think that's a good idea. I like that idea, in fact. I'm just gonna kind of shade them haphazardly for now. I'll probably end up just coloring them in anyway. I think I'm gonna add a moon as the center focal point, and it shines moonlight down on the actual arm. Yeah, I think I like that idea. I wanted to honestly do that the first time, but I didn't know how to, so I gave up on the idea and just put stars in the sky. That's a very awkward moon. Maybe I won't do the moon idea. I'm gonna kind of deliberate, think about it, kind of bounce the idea in my head. add some shading on the grave there. This is more coloring it in, but whatever. Okay, I think the main basic, let me recenter myself. There. The hills that I wanted done, I should probably still keep the image on standby. On import. There we go. Put this down on the bottom layer. This is still the reference drawing, which feels again ancient in nature. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I really do like kind of just deep, thoughtful conversations like this. They're very fun, honestly, and it's just so nice to kind of talk the talk, you feel. Yeah, that's the hand. That's the shading in general. That's the arm and sword. And the grave. No, wait, that's the hills. This is the arm, sword, and grave. Okay. I think we should make work on the hills next before really touching up the background like I'd want to. Actually, hills are kind of like a big thing. I might just wait on that. I'm going to kind of take everything. Actually, yeah, I will start on the hills. Actually, you know what I will do? I'll start on line work. That's not just stencil. I'm going to actually do full marker now. Not that I feel very comfortable, like a ballpoint, I think. I think it's a great start. Let me see. Ah. Oh, I like that. That's nice. Thick line. Just kind of gonna follow the line. Actually, I'm gonna start a new layer. This is something that they highly recommend in any art class. Oops, it's not layer 6, it's layer 3. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna use the same color palette for this. I'm thinking. I really did like the dark to the light stars, but I didn't kind of shade that correctly, so it kind of just cuts in and out awkwardly. I might actually change the star formation, make some more detailed things that aren't just white dots, but I did like this thing, just like the light over the hand. But I actually shaded and make it a little more specific. And just for reference, old, new. It feels so different. People really don't talk about this in art if you're starting out, is starting with a pencil and just shading adds so much depth. Again, new, old. The old has no shading, minus whatever this is supposed to be. And the hands are just a crystal white. I think the only shading I have is on the cuff right here. And the background. So I really did like that shading style. It was, not the shading, but the color palette was very nice. I really did enjoy that. Now we're going to do the line work. Honestly, shading is something you're supposed to technically do after line work. I just continue that and then continue the hill up here to kind of add some, how do I explain this? Like some variety to the hills. Okay, add this to kind of fall down like there. So you can show something like this, because I'm gonna have to keep something in mind. Hold on. Nope. Nope, that's shading. This one. That's something I have to keep in mind, is right here where the sword is planted. There. Except I want this to kind of fade down and be like a middle road, because I want that one to be way in the back, you feel. Oops. Am I crazy or did the music stop? Always hate the YouTube feature. Video pause, continue watching. You know how much of a pain in the butt that is if I'm listening to music in the car and I'm driving a while. Like I sometimes have to drive to my Smash Bros tournaments to the west. It's a 30-minute drive with traffic. Multiple times I'm in the middle of the highway and it's asking, continue playing? Yes, I want to continue listening to my music. Oh, I noticed the music stopping. It bothered me slightly. I've gotten so used to the music playing that when it stopped playing, it perked my ears immediately. Anyway, as I was saying, it's like, it's so frustrating. There might be a setting to disable it, but that is such an annoying thing when I'm looking Godfrey's when you get a chance. Oh, well, you know, I gotta see this. Actually, if I may, this might be a private matter, so I'm just gonna, I just really quickly want to see this. This gotta be really good. That's really funny. I'm not gonna lie, Darius. That's really good. I think I'm honestly good to share that with stream. That's pretty funny. Yo, check this shit he sent me. That's his Wordle from today. I didn't know if I could show it at first if it was anything sensitive. I didn't know, but that's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. You got me good. I might make the grave smaller, honestly. Because in the original, the grave was roughly in the same spot, but because of the sword was down to there. So it kind of stretched a lot further and was in the foreground. Oh, Jerem, about the level. Level's going great, actually. I'm making a lot of great progress on it. And I'm gonna continue it, soon. I had 2 building streams. You're welcome to view those. That was decorating and just doing lining of the level and just getting rid of the gross, normal blocks and just fitting in something actual. There. I think that's good. Yeah, if you want to give a peek at that, you're very welcome to. It's, I went with a very star kind of outer space theme, and I'm very proud of the work I've done so far. I gotta really reduce my glow intake or just find a way to streamline slash make it not as, how do I explain this? I guess, not as just persistent. Maybe add some fade in so it doesn't look like it's just all there all the time. Glow plum. Hard to say. I don't know what your laptop computer thing is. Like, what if it's a specific model or anything like that. Oh, I forgot to add part of my pencil. I forgot to add text here. So there is like the original going to be grass that shoots up and covers most of it. And I might not actually write text because I want it to feel, I want like the main the NPC. I don't actually know. You made it. I don't know then. That's kind of beyond me. Like, I have computer knowledge. I built my own computer 4 years ago, but that kind of thing, I don't know. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I want this. I was gonna write, here lines, but then I think and I look back to the other one. It's like there's just gray speck because there's just a rock. It's not. It's not a well carved rock. Well, I trust your dad. You're probably better off asking him, I would say. Anyways, what was I saying, right? I wanted to... I kind of want to not have like a carved headstone, more of a just... I think the important thing of note here is... Drawing pen, there we go. Is it's just a stone. I want it to really convey that in the time as the person, the rest of them was buried, as they couldn't really get the hand off without ripping it and breaking it off the sword. I want to kind of show that there was no like long-term thought. They just in haste ripped the rest of the body away to bury it. There was no kind of really well-planned tombstone or anything of that nature, really. And it was just kind of a rock they slid in place just to kind of as a farewell memorial thing. I think that'll be a good okay, I see, I accidentally did that. Oops. Gotta... There we go. You should add some cracks to the grave. Yeah, add some cracks, or because how I want this to be displayed is the bones on the hand are still kind of, let me find which one it is. Here. No, it's just by the whole arm. That the hand bones are still kind of intact, and I actually looked this up. I did research earlier today before I went into work. You after a few days, I believe it says the muscles and like the actual other parts of the hand start to decay away from the rest of your bones, and if you die holding something or it's bent a certain way, it will kind of hold like that into rigor mortis, which was really interesting. I did learn a lot of cool stuff today while researching, and the important part is it's... I got a tangent, oops. But what was I saying? Right, about the cracks in the grave. That not much time has passed. It was more of just a rock they slid into place, whoever buried the person, and they didn't have time. Nice. I mean, yeah, it's just replacing the file. I remember doing that way back in my day. I sound like an unk, but trust, I swear I'm not that old. But God, it feels like it every day. Oops. Hold on. Let me... There we go. Kind of just like a very broken rock. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for. Let me put in... The other pieces minus the shading. Put this back into line art mode. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of sounds like a Sonic song. It sounds like kind of sounds like a more chill version of Starlight Zone from Sonic 1, now that I think about it. There we go. I have been live for almost 2 hours. I will not try to end this abruptly, but I do want to go to bed at a semi-decent time, and I still have to do the Wordle, so I have to keep all that in mind. I have to say my progress drawing has been really fast in terms of, you know, just getting the job done. Drawing used to take me like actually horrendous art block. It used to be when I stream because it's 1 a.m. Oh, you're on East Coast too. Yeah, was good. Yeah, I know it's 1. I haven't really decided. Probably soon, because I want to play Wordle and go to bed soon. Wait, what state? I think I've said it previously here. It's tough for me to want to kind of give the info out because, you know, just no Northeast, somewhere up in there. But I'm not really going to say much more because it's one of those things where it's like, I grew up in an age where parents would jump down your throat and say, never share your location. That is true. All goats live in the EST. No, it's okay. It's less of a personal thing and more of a I literally grew up in an age of, you know, early-ish internet, not like late 90s early, but early 2000s where it was do not tell any stranger of your location. You know who else might? No, you're good. It's not a your fault. It was just a general precaution I take against everyone. You know who has my location? It's one online friend, maybe 2 maximum. That's just because I sent him a gift via the mail. So please understand, yeah, it's not like that kind of thing. It's just, you know, internet safety and all that is just something everyone should practice in all honesty. But not everyone does. I told America my on Xbox my address when I was 8. My parents overheard and I was in so much trouble. I live close to Philly. I suppose I could, you know, I'm about a. I'll just tell you. Yeah, I'm a few hours from Philly. I think that's vague enough, but kind of where you get the idea. It is truly one of those things. If you grew up in that age, parents would absolutely hound the hell out of you if you ever shared your information like that. They would tan your hide over a campfire for fun. But they were right. You really shouldn't share it unless you are personal friends and know the person. Now, when it gets to becoming like if you become more popular and you get like a PO box and everything like that, yeah, it's a little more different. So, what? You were online dating at 10? What the fuck? I can't be mad. That's low key a little bit funny. On Roblox, motherfucker, what? Even worse, you telling me, MBJ, Jesus. If I ever was dating online via Roblox at 10 years old, my mother would beat me with a leather belt and then hang me by my legs and beat me again. And then my father would do the same. Understandably, I'm not gonna lie. But, like, that's honestly insane to me. Oh my god. I need to recenter myself. There we go. Made me unfriend her. Heartbreaking news. I'm sorry, that's a really funny story. I know it's not all that funny, like in retrospect, but like, it's a little funny. Come on, it was. You friended her. Oh, this story is just full of twists and turns. Oh my god, bro. Christ, I'm crying. That's funny. Hmm. I'm like slightly off. That's what's frustrating me. Too tall. I'm getting close to it though. I should definitely consider these more often. These drawing streams are so nice. Just kind of have people talk, do some shit, whatever, just kind of on the mind. And then she found it again? Oh my god, brother, you cannot tell stories like these. Yo, write a book, bro. If you got enough twists and turns for this bullshit, write a book. Oh my god. Yeah, MJ, you're right. It's the absurdity that makes this ungodly funny. It's like, what? You truly hear the craziest stuff in like in a live chat. Mm. No, Germa's right. Almost everyone at 10 years old was an idiot. That's completely reasonable, not only to say, but to think. Listen, at 10 years old, I was still. God, what was I doing at 10? I'm gonna tap a stream for tonight. Good night. Have a good night, Hondarius. Take care. What was I saying? Right, at 10 years old, I was doing all kinds of stupid shit I, first off, shouldn't have been doing. And number two, have known better. So, I understand. That's some good tea, I'm not gonna lie. Unfortunately, it is cold now, so it's a little less enjoyable, but it's fine. Alright, let's finish the hills down here. Just a few more lines I have to make. Ah. I'm not following the lines exactly, more so kind of just kind of approximate, just to kind of do that. It's supposed to be like that. There we go. There we go. Nice. Super reality. Oh, shit, I did it. Let me hold on. Let me pull that song up, and then I will give it a like, and then I will come back to that after stream ends and listen to it. If I can apparently almost hit the print button. Who's the song by again? Oh, right, Tinchi, right? Yeah, it was them. I'm just gonna like it, and I will come back to that, alright? I didn't. See? It took me a second. It took me a second to remember the artist name, but we goaded. We up. What I might do, in all honesty, is I might add, like... No, I think the grave being that close is... You know, this looks pretty good. That's just the line art. We can get rid of the rest, honestly, and just keep the line art. Yeah. I only need the stuff now. I already finished the sketch and that's done. I'm gonna add debris where the dirt was kind of disrupted. I'm maybe going for like, it looks a little dry earth here. It's kind of like cracked on the ground. Yeah, it's the next GD meme. A, that might be true. I understand you might be worried I'll forget, so I'll do one more thing to reassure you truly, MBJ. I try to hold my promises whenever possible. I never like to break promises. In fact, if I have the choice, I won't make a promise unless I know I can fulfill it. So, here's what I'll do. I will show you. See? I got the song up as promised. I have the tab open, and I solemnly swear I will listen to it tonight after stream. I don't like to ever make promises I can never keep. When I have another broken promise on my hands, that hurts greatly because I pride myself in being the better person, and just if I know I won't be able to keep the promise, I just don't make it because I try to know better than that. It's just orbs. That is true. Orbit has orbs. Fact checked it by Real American Patriots, by the way. But I will wrap up soon. It is past 1 a.m. I can't. I'm getting a little tired, honestly. Honestly, 15% on the ballpoint pen is really good for shading. Look at that. That's nice. Hmm. Oops. I should stop doing large movements like this. Because if I back up, then I remove the whole thing, but at the same time... Actually, wait, I forgot. I have free will, I can just... No, it's thickness perfect from the beginning to the end, so... Hmm... Yeah, not really worth changing. Hmm. I'm kind of just following the conversation loosely. I should. Oh, right, Orbit. I haven't seen much of it. I saw the little gameplay snippet that dropped that Mindcap put out. Definitely looks interesting. I'll give it that much. But that, to me, that looks like a personal hell. It's just so much is going on. It's like I don't know how someone would recognize that and go, "Oh yeah, I know what I'm looking at." Absolutely not. I'm not doing all that. When a level starts to get too chaotic, where too much stuff is going on. Hmm. I see. I see. But when a level starts to get like chaotic, too much stuff is going on, I can't understand what I'm looking at. It's one of those things you've kind of lost me. Too much to look at, too much decoration to cloud your eyes. It's no longer fun to me then if it's that crowded. Just very light shading like that is so good. Hmm. That may or may not be true. Ooh. Yeah, okay, there we go. Mm, mm, mm. We've hit basically 2 hours in the stream. I think it's time to wrap up soon. Don't get me wrong. I've been having such a really great time playing. Not playing, but drawing rather. I'm really glad to have done this, and I definitely am looking forward to another stream like this. This has just been a lot of fun, easily. Always remember, we started here, and this is it. After 2 hours, I'm very happy with this progress, no doubt. I just darken the shading on this. Yeah, it's like good two people kind of. I know you're not arguing, you're kind of just passively just doing something there. And then I'm just kind of talking about life and drawing. Truly the equilibrium to all. What can I say? I just kind of do that shit for free. It's very fun. So nice, so peaceful. God, I should do this more often. A nice hot cup of tea. Maybe it's a yeah, it's a very small argument, just basic head putting over silly shit. Yeah. Okay. We'll start to work on the sky just a little bit. It's time to bust out greens, but more of a dark, earthy green. Don't curse. I mean, you kind of got me there. Fair enough. The beginning of something. I want to try the paint bucket tool. This was such a quick. Oops. Can't do that. I have to manually fill that in. I need it to be like a darker, earthier brown, like a soil color. There we go. Okay, but you have to understand, Germ, nothing against you, but for the religious one, not. So I am free to speak as I please. Even so. And YT can punish me, I don't really care. I'm just vibing, and if they want to bring down the hammer of justice, I believe that's their call completely. I'm not gonna really care all too hard. Like, yeah, it will suck, but it's like, eh. I'll have hills in the background be a darker color, and as they get towards the front, they'll be like a lighter. Okay, it's too light, it's too happy, it's like a green hills color. That's nice. Yeah, but even so, again, at the end of the day, it's nothing against the person, it's the fact. You're free to follow whatever religion you see fit. Also, shit, I should have. I shouldn't have put the coloring on the same layer as the liner. What am I doing? I'm a fool. There we go. Let me put that on a different layer altogether. There we go. But it is still the fact, it's not really someone's say on how someone speaks. Like, you can obviously be uncomfortable if they're saying stuff that is you don't really like or care for. That's fair, sure. At the end of the day, I'm not religious, but I know that, you're given free will, so use it as you please kind of deal. I don't know how else to really say it. Too dark. Go a little bit lighter. That's nice. I like the color. That's very pretty. The dark brown back in the seat. And let's get to the marker and just... The easiest part's the liner. Now just doing the coloring is going to be really easy now that I've got everything in motion. Oops, missed a spot back here. I was cutting that in manually. I should turn off. Oops. Alright, y'all, I made an oopsie again. Jeez. I was being a goofball and forgot to separate the color layers again. Oh my. Alright, sounds good. Let me get back to what I was doing. And make the darker parts of the hill like up here. And then I'm gonna remove the line art. I forgot that removing line art does all that, so I have to be careful when I do that. Let's get something a very touch lighter. Do this hill. And then something a little lighter. Do this hill. I kind of wish that would split so it's not one chunk. Oops. Well, I know how to fix that problem. Go back to the black brush. There. Problem solved. Now we have to go. This one that is. No, that matches that one, so I need. It's a little bit lighter. I'll get one that's tiny bit lighter than that to do this in this piece. Okay. That's good. I like that. That's nice. Last but not least, change to the darker brown. I might go even darker, like a more rich soil kind of color. There we go. Let's just kind of fill these parts in. My music stopped again. That might be the cue, honestly, to wrap up stream soon. Okay. I've been running this for 2 hours 10 probably. I have this filled in with the dirt because this is where, you know, the body would have been buried, so. It's gonna be very approximate. It's not gonna be perfect. Burials in haste are never perfect, of course. I really thought I would have needed a drawing pad to really get used to it on a computer, but honestly, this ain't that bad. I've actually gotten quite used to this. And of course, I'll have some darker soil covered in there, so it's not all one color. And as a lighter shade. just to kind of show movement of the soil. That's gonna obviously be touched up later. In fact, I might just keep that one color for the time being. It might, I don't know what it would remind you of. Okay. Let's go back to the bucket. I forgot to make this part fully connect here. There. Okay, let's do some final cleanup work and get this done. This is going to be of the leather. Just going to do the main pieces of it. Not that. I'm going to get the actual brush in there and I'm going to do the line in a more gentle, specific. I might lower the thickness of the brush to work with me better. Make a 2 instead of a 3. I might pick a darker, richer, more kind of reddish brown for the leather. I think that would really add to the texturing. That's the finger. Yeah, that's definitely fair. Move my thing down. I might find a darker color for those hills because they kind of stick out currently like a sore thumb. So this is free space between the fingers. Trying to find what is free space and what is the actual bones is a little difficult at times, but that's all right. I'll figure it out. There we go. Move center myself one more time and re-enter. Get a little closer before doing that. There we go. Shading will be added later. Maybe I will keep this main thing and then shade with that reddish brown to really kind of make it pop. When in doubt, shade with a slightly darker color. Usually work. There you go. I leave. No, that's fine. Have yourself a good night, Germ. Take care, alright? So if I actually back this part up all the way. I kind of like this color of soil. I did this part right. I like that. That looks nice so far. I think I will make those hills just a tiny bit darker across the board. They're just too bright. It's giving Green Hill Zone and not in a way that's good. I think I'm gonna do something like this. And I will just shade lighter. Like literally the tiniest bit lighter for these. There we go. That looks nice. That's a difference. I like that. That's good. That's good. Not bad, not bad. Okay, I think the in place tombstone, I think I'm obviously gonna make that like a gray. I'm thinking a darker gray, like kind of storm cloud. And I'm gonna then switch to the marker again at a 15% opacity. I'm just gonna get in here. I'm gonna lower this down to like a 2. Yeah, make it higher, like a closer to 30. There we go. Now I've got this all colored and I want to see what this looks like without the lines. Okay, that's a different layer for some reason. Oh well, I messed up the layers. Who cares anymore? It's gonna be me working on it anyways. I'm not sharing with anyone. I don't think it matters if I mess up the layers. That looks good though. But unfortunately, that's where I think I'll call it for the night. I'm getting kind of tired, and I still have to do Wordle and my Colordle. So I'm gonna first save the image so I can send it to the group. Updated drawing, if I can spell, boom. And I believe we'll call it there. That was great. Why is there just white space? Oh, great question. So that's going to be, here, let me go back into it. So MBJ, that's going to be sky when I get to that part. This is the new overlaid on the old, as you can see. So this is going to be the sky and the stars and all that. But for the time being, it's just that. Until I can really get to work on this. But like I said, it's 1:30. I should be in bed, and if not in bed, I should start going to bed. So let us call it here. I had really great fun, and I would really like to do this again sometime. I meant to grind a different way. Oh, that, yeah, I was on a different layer and started coloring. Didn't realize it said, oops, we ball, who cares? That's kind of way, honestly. That was just an oopsies, my fault moment. I'll probably fix it in my free time, and then, next time I stream, I'll show off the fix. But besides that, we're gonna call it there. I would really like to do this again. This was really fun, especially after like a tough work day, and I'm kind of tired. This was a very pleasant experience, and I should do this. This was amazing. That cherry's tea still hidden, by the way. Yeah, it was just an oopsie on the coloring. Call me a business major the way I can't color in the lines. Ayo, what's good? Was it business major that shit on for just having like a final that's a coloring book? I can't remember. I think I'm just speaking out my ass. I'm speaking on nonsense. Ignore me at this point. I'm tired. It's 1:30 in the morning. Anyways, if sun's out, have a good day. Go touch some grass. It's night. Get some sleep. And as always, take care and have a good rest of your day or night. Adios.